Hey, have you ever been shopping for something simple like toothpaste, only to come across an overwhelming amount of choices? You know, whitening, minty fresh, sensitive, charcoal, anti-cavity? There's just so many options, and then you start to feel frozen, unable to decide. Maybe you start comparing each tube meticulously, or maybe you put it back and resolve to just stick to your old brand. Well, you're not alone. This is called the paradox of choice. So here at our academy, we've taken it upon ourselves to deep dive into the psychology behind decision-making. Because when it comes to understanding why we choose what we choose, there's a lot more going on than meets the eye. So let's break it down with science. To understand the paradox of choice, it helps to first know what it means. The term was coined by psychologist Barry Schwartz in his 2004 book of the same name. Basically, the idea is that while we love the idea of having so much choice and so much freedom in modern life, all those options can make us deeply unhappy. Think about it. If you're scrolling through an endless feed of social media, which, according to research, takes up around 150 of our waking lives, it's hard to blame you if you feel unfulfilled or anxious, or when you're re-looking for a new job and you see 384 open positions for growth marketing manager. It's easy to get overwhelmed. The more options we have, the harder it is to choose, and the more dissatisfied we tend to be. But what happens in the brain when we're faced with too many options? To answer that question, let's look to science. One famous study by Columbia University researchers offered shoppers 6 jam options at one table and 24 jams at another. More people stopped at the larger display, but only 3% bought something. Meanwhile, 30% bought from the smaller display. More choice attracted attention, but led to fewer decisions. Now, neuroscientists peg this on what they call decision fatigue. Basically, our brains love the idea of choice, but they hate actually making decisions. As the number of options we consider increases, so does our brain power expenditure. So neurologically speaking, the more options you present to someone, the more likely it is that their prefrontal cortex will get overwhelmed, leading to choice paralysis. But even if they do make a choice, research from Stanford shows that the more options we consider, the more likely we are to second-guess and feel regret. We imagine the perfect choice, and if we don't find it, we blame ourselves. It's a recipe for chronic dissatisfaction, and that's where the paradox lies. Modern life gives us unprecedented freedom through choice, but simultaneously overwhelms us with too many options, leaving us miserable and unfulfilled. But before we talk about how to escape the trap, let's first talk about how it shows up in real life. You see, the paradox of choice shows up everywhere. On job platforms, talented people stay paralyzed by too many career options. And even after making a choice, we often feel less satisfied, because we keep thinking about the paths we didn't take. You could even argue that this is part of the reason why almost half of Americans are unhappy with their jobs. We're so busy looking for the perfect one that we forget to appreciate the good aspects of the one we're already in. Psychologists call this maximizing versus satisficing. Maximizers seek the best possible choice and often end up less happy. Satisficers go for a good enough choice and report greater life satisfaction. Now that we've established the problem and identified its potential causes, let's get into how to escape the trap. If you're feeling overwhelmed, here's what psychologists recommend. First, limit your choices intentionally. Instead of keeping dozens of tabs open, pick 3 to 5 strong options only. Second, set a decision deadline. Avoid endlessly scrolling and comparing. Third, embrace satisficing. Sometimes good enough really is good enough. And fourth, practice gratitude. Focus on what you did choose, not on what you didn't. Barry Schwartz even suggests that sometimes the secret to happiness is low expectations, not in a cynical way, but in a freeing way. Sometimes aiming lower can help us appreciate what we have and reduce our dissatisfaction with what we do. You end. So there you have it, a deep dive into the paradox of choice. Hopefully now you can recognize it, understand it, and hopefully escape it. Because in the end, isn't it ironic that in a world that promises us endless choice and infinite freedom, sometimes the smartest choice we can make is to choose less? Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been a helpful video for you. If you liked it, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more human behavior science.